All right, let's get right into it. We've all been told the same story, right? To get ahead, you have to specialize. Pick one lane, stay in it, and just get really, really good at that one thing. But what if that's terrible advice? Today, we're tearing that idea down and exploring a much more powerful path, the path of the polymath. We're going to lay out the actual blueprint for building a multi-layered mind, one that can see the world in ways a specialist just can't.
And this right here, this is the idea that changes the whole game. You've got to forget that myth of the born genius. The source material we're digging into today makes it clear. Real, high-level intelligence isn't something you're just handed at birth. Nope, it's something you build. It's a machine. And you know what? Like any machine, it has parts, it has an instruction manual, and that's exactly what we're here to unpack.
But look, before we can start building, we gotta clear the land first. So let's take on the biggest idea out there, the specialist myth. Our whole society pushes us into these tiny, narrow boxes, telling us that expertise in one single area is the only way to win. But in a world as complex as ours, that hyper-focus actually becomes your biggest limitation. It's like having only a hammer, so every single problem starts to look like a nail. It literally blinds you to bigger, more interesting solutions.
This slide just lays it out perfectly. Look, a specialist sees one piece of the puzzle, and they see it with amazing clarity, which is great. But the polymath sees how all the pieces connect. They see the whole blueprint. It's the difference between knowing one single street like the back of your hand and holding a map of the entire city. The polymath can see the shortcuts, the connections, the traffic jams the specialist doesn't even know exist. That's the goal here, to become a universal thinker.
So, how in the world do we actually build this universal mind? Well, now we get to pop the hood on the machine. This whole framework is built on something called the 7 polymath pillars. Just think of these as the 7 fundamental types of intelligence you need to consciously build up to get to that true, multi-layered way of thinking.
Let's just quickly break these down. You've got the pillars of the conceptual mind. That's linguistic, your way with words; logical, your classic IQ, seeing structure; and spatial, your ability to visualize things. Then you've got the expressive pillars, musical intelligence, which is really about recognizing patterns; and bodily kinesthetic, that mind-body connection you see in an athlete or an artist. And finally, you have the pillars that connect you to everything else. Inner intelligence, just knowing yourself; and outer intelligence, your EQ, understanding other people. A true polymath doesn't just coast on one or two of these. They actively work on all 7.
Okay, so we've got the what, those 7 pillars. Now let's talk about the how. These are the 3 core rules, the 3 directives for actually building this thing. Think of this as the operating system for the machine, your practical guide to getting smarter every single day.
First up, be confident. Seriously. You have to give yourself permission to be a total beginner again. You have to shut down that little voice that says, "Oh, I'm not a math person," or "I'm too old to learn that." Confidence is the gasoline you need to even turn the key. Second, and this is the engine itself, be consistent. Growth is not about some heroic all-night cram session. It's about tiny, daily efforts that stack up over time. And third, be creative. This is the whole point. This is where you stop just collecting facts and you start connecting them, creating brand new ideas from different fields.
And this is the part that is so deceptively simple, it's brilliant. That whole be consistent thing, it boils down to this. We're not talking about finding 10 extra hours a week. We're talking about finding just 15 focused minutes. That's it. A tiny little sliver of your day dedicated to building one of those 7 pillars. It seems too small to work, but its power is just incredible.
Because those little 15-minute chunks, they compound into something huge. Do the math. 15 minutes a day, every single day, adds up to over 90 hours of focused learning in 1 year. That is the equivalent of a 2-week full-time job you've just spent mastering a new skill. That's how you build a pillar. That's the undeniable power of just showing up every single day. Consistency will beat intensity every single time.
And this right here, this is the ultimate payoff. This is that 3rd directive, be creative in action. This is the moment when all your different skills start talking to each other. When you build up your musical skills and your logical skills, you might suddenly see the hidden math in a piece by Bach, and then use that structural thinking to write better code. Or you could take the discipline and footwork from martial arts and use it to own the stage when you give a speech. That connection, that synthesis between things that seem totally unrelated, that is the polymath superpower. Okay, you have the blueprint, you have the tools. Now it's time to actually start building. This isn't about just understanding some cool idea, it's about putting it into practice. Your first assignment is dead simple, and it starts the second this is over.
So this is the big question for you to answer. Just look back at those 7 pillars. Which one is calling out to you? Which one feels a little weak, maybe even a little intimidating? Is it words, logic, spatial thinking, music, your body, understanding yourself, or understanding others? The first step isn't mastery. It's just picking a place to start.
And here it is. This is the final takeaway. Don't wait for the perfect time. Don't wait until Monday. Don't wait for a clean slate in your calendar. The path to building that amazing 7-layered mind, it starts with one tiny, conscious decision. Commit to just 15 minutes. Do it today.